Director Center of Philosophy, Hyderabad, to present his paper on transnational human trafficking.
I'm going to present paper on topic Nirbhaya and beyond, reflection on how India has failed in addressing the root cause of trafficking, root cause of sex trafficking. What I want to discuss in this paper is we all know the Nirbhaya case has shocked the whole country. We all know after the Nirbhaya case there was a huge movement throughout the country for bringing change in the law. We all know a committee was constituted, Verma committee report. A committee was constituted and the committee has submitted very extensive report. But what we don't know or what's not talked about is the all background culture in which the cases like Nirbhaya happened, and what that culture is and what was there in Nirbhaya. I just wanted to say you all, if any one of you or if those of you have seen this documentary made by BBC, and the documentary name is India's Daughter, and if you have seen the statement or interview which is recorded of all the culprits in their case, now the matter is the Supreme Court issue is whether it will be executed or not, the penalty which has been given. But we never talk about this part of the episode in Nirbhaya. What was the episode there? Now, Nirbhaya case was a typical case of showing the one particular gender stereotyping, where any male gender considered that the girl or sex is for purchase. Persons feel that there is a market available in the country, and in that market anyone can go and buy sex. That the culture which exists. India's Daughter, that documentary, they tried to explain what was the background of entire Nirbhaya case. In that case, when the accused were asked during the interview that what they were doing, why they have done, and the accused statement was, it was a Sunday, it was a day for them, it's a day for enjoyment. After whole week of their work, they got ready, they consumed alcohol, they were going by bus and it's enjoyment, but they are going. They were going to GB Road in Delhi. That means they have this mindset that there is a market available in Delhi which is called GB Road, where they can go and buy any girl from their money power. They have money. By paying that money, the girl is available. So this is the mindset of the peoples where in country, the girls are there for sale, the sex is there on sale, the people can buy. And in that mindset, they consume alcohol, they are going on the way, in the road, on the middle somewhere, they found some helpless girl. And so what was the end result? The end result was, instead of reaching up to GB Road, before that, they sexually exploited the girl. And this entire episode, unfortunate incident of death occurred. Now, while it's a conscience of every citizen in the country is really, in this case, has does the conscience of everyone agitated, but no one talk about that these people who was committed the rape and murder of Nirbhaya was those people who are habituated and they practice a culture where they think that the rape is there, they can do sex by paying money. Now, somewhere in the background, this culture is responsible for doing sexual exploitations of the girl. So, when by doing some study, some of the research, when I interview different people, one of the common feeling comes, or common statement which comes by different people was that okay, we need these kinds of red light area. We need these kinds of red light area because the good women can be protected in the locality. And sir, this is those kinds of comments come. We also found, fortunately very few, but we found some comments of some when during my interviews, some of the advocates when I interviewed in Bangladesh, from Bangladesh BNWLA, Bangladesh National Women Lawyer Association, National Women Lawyer Association, one of the lawyers, he says that we are missing the point. The people who are doing these rapes sexual exploitation are only those people who are involved, who frequently visit the red light area, they sexually exploit the girls, and they consider there is no harm in sexually exploiting a victim. So this culture in which our red light area exists, our market industry exists, its entire exploitation become normalized. Now, while I didn't find any corroborative evidences to show that existence of red light area will decrease the number of offences against women, statistically it's unprovable. I tried to find out from some areas where the number of red light areas which was there, they closed down, whether that impacted in the number of sexual offences. It does not have any kind of relationship. But Nirbhaya case corroborated testimony that the people who committed this rape and murder of the girls, they are the people who are sexually exploiting the girls in different red light areas, and they consider the girls is there for purchase. Now, if we have to combat sex trafficking, then we have to look into this background culture which exists, the number of red light areas throughout the country, how we can address them. Unless we address this root cause, and in the morning I was saying there are only two root causes which I found, and we have only two things which are required to do in order to combat trafficking. One is definitely empowerment of the girls, so decreasing the vulnerability. But second most important part is we want to keep this exploitative industry alive. We want to keep these kinds of places in public where people can go and purchase this sex. At the same time, we expect that there will be no girl will be trafficked tomorrow. Now, the entire argument, some point of time in the questions of legalizations, etc. Entire argument was on the agencies they found, but in each and every case when I did in-depth study, I found that some point of time in their life the girls traffic, and so when we say even if some girls having a smaller fraction of the girls whom we can say having agency or they are free, it's a very minuscule number, but as soon as we go in depth in their cases, we will find some histories behind that history which forced them into prostitution at some point of time. So, if we have to combat trafficking, particularly sex trafficking, the sex trafficking cannot be combated, we cannot combat sex trafficking till the time this both the profiteers demand and the customers demand both need to legally address. Now, how we can address it? Can law do it? Answer, definitely law can play a very important role. But can law alone do it? Answer is there are many occasions when we have a law but it's not being implemented. And I will give you a few examples to show that law alone is not enough, but we do require law. We feel very happy where India has failed. We feel very happy that the law has been amended in IPC and we got 370. Now IPC 370 has been amended on the basis of Justice Verma Committee report. When Justice Verma Committee report suggested for incorporations of the traffic IPC and prescribed punishment for it, Justice Verma Committee report never suggested that omit a very important part from the IPC provisions. What is that important part? Remember I said two things which are required to combat trafficking. One, we have to reduce the vulnerability because every trafficker I found, the girls are trafficked because they were vulnerable. Two, address the demand. Now when you have to reduce the vulnerability, definitely vulnerability play a very important role in the process of trafficking. And in the trafficking protocol definitions, Article 3 of the trafficking protocol, when it says trafficking, it uses both act means purpose, and one of the means is by which a victim is basically allured is their vulnerability. So in each and every case, there is a victim whose vulnerability is misused by the traffickers and they force into trafficking. Interesting thing is, when 370 came into existence, the 370 verbatim they copied the entire Article 3 definition of trafficking protocol, leaving these 5 words or of possession of vulnerability. One of the important means of trafficking is vulnerability. In every case I found, the victim is trafficked because of the vulnerability. But when 370 came into existence, they omitted vulnerability. What was the reason? There is no answer to it. Neither the committee says, nor the member of the committee says. when the vulnerability suggested, they never suggested to delete the vulnerability part, because vulnerability plays a very important role. So these are major lacuna which exist in section 370 of the Act, because this lacuna the cases may fail. Because the vulnerability is always a means. So if you do not find other means, always one means you require to prove. And vulnerability is the most easiest means which a prosecutor can prove in criminal cases when they prosecute the trafficker. So that's 370 part. When we see other provisions also, the law is in place, but they are not implemented. In the morning in our session, I give an example of 372 and 373 IPC, where the NCRP data categorically says police are very happy to use 372 because the sailors are coming from the outside. They do not use 373 because the buyer are the people who living in the local police station area, and they don't want the local brothel owner or criminal to annoy base reason. They know the base reason for it, I don't know. But the fact remains that because this profiteers demand, they are profiteers. Unless we target these profiteers, whether we targeting by 373 or we are targeting by section 3 or section 5 of ITK, unless we target these profiteers, we cannot combat sex trafficking. Second thing, when we have a ITP and IPC, only IPC is not going to give the answer. Reason being that we require in a trafficking case is not only the issue of prosecution, but it's also the issue is how we can providing an environment in which this entire service will be victim centric, and that can only be possible when we have those kinds of infrastructures. IPC is incapable of providing those kinds of infrastructure. It needs to be a separate legislation, whether it will be ITPA to be incorporated for the sex trafficking, some other thing for separately, or we can have a general law which the government is trying to bring, but there's a lots of things which the changes required. So still, when we have a 370A which talk about the demand side, how many prosecution? So unless we do have a law for the brothel owner, but the prosecution number of prosecution is far less than what is required. We do have a law for customers in 370A, very little has been done. In the ITPA, there is a provision section 7 can be used, in some cases 5 can be used, but that again is only in exceptional cases the prosecutions or police they use it. So in my view, what we have not learned from Nirbhaya is that in order to combat sex trafficking, it is not only important that we have a provision like 370, but it is important how we can have a targeted interventions, targeted action against these entire industries which generate huge profit. Now, can we imagine what will be the number of the sexual offences committed in those areas? When we say that so many million people are trafficked, thousands and thousands of people are trafficked. Even for example, if in one red light area, if there is for argument's sake, if there are 100 girls who are minors and 10 customers goes every day, you have a 1,000 rape committing every day. We are just mere spectator. We are tolerating this exploitation. So this entire exploitation, till the time a society will tolerate the exploitations, sexual offences, sexual violence, and tolerate the culture which exists of exploitation, we will not be able to combat trafficking. So in my view, even after Nirbhaya, why we have made the changes in the law, we have not talked about, we have not begin our talk how we can address the issue of sex inequality, how we will address the issue of existence of entire industry which perpetuate, which felicitate, which provide mechanisms for trafficking and prosecution. I can share 100 number of cases. Each and every case shows the same thing, the manner in which the trafficking is taking place. It cannot be ended unless we have a very serious actions against these profiteers and as well as the customer. Both groups require punishment, both groups require prosecution, both groups require some kinds of actions from the state, and for that it's not only law but also the practice both required to be put in place. Thank you.